Should be able to record now. So I'll just give you a thumbs up and you'll start. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Prem Connection, being brought to you by Auntie Kamal and Auntie Rennu. For those who've never met us before, that's my pretty girlfriend right over there with the flowers behind her. That's Auntie Kamal. Hello, Auntie Kamal. How are you?
Hi. How are you, Rennu?
Very well. And I'm Auntie Rennu, and we're from Prem Connection. Prem Connection, where we are going to create your story, and we're going to bring stories to you, bring stories about love, about heartbreaks, about relationships, about how you find your right life partner. And that other pretty young lady right over there is Ira from Radio Zindagi. Can you say hello, Miss Ira?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, she's going to fix our live streaming on Facebook. So don't worry about it. Even if it's not being streamed live, we're going to put it back on Facebook in a few minutes anyway. And then right over there is Miss Sheena. Hello, Miss Sheena. Can't hear you. There you go.
Good evening. Good evening.
All right. For those who don't know, Prem Connection is not just a radio show that brings you stories about relationships. And of course, on Thursday night, if you don't have a date, we're here to be your dates for you. But we're actually getting ready to launch our matrimonial and matchmaking service in the next 4 weeks. So by the end of October, you're going to have this fabulous service that is going to help you find your life partner. We use the word life partner because nowadays I know how young kids are, all the young couples and old couples out there. Nobody wants to get married right away, right? You want to test the waters, get to know each other. So we call it life partners. And today we have an exciting show. But before that, I'm going to introduce Auntie Kamal, who's going to tell you a little bit about what her services are going to do. She's the expert on matchmaking. I'm just the noisemaker.
I know you always give me that, but we are so excited about Prem Connection, and it's going to be a private matchmaking. But you can always, we'll keep it private. We'll not probably, we are going to do background checks and everything so that the partner that you are introduced to will be somebody that you're really interested, and will give you all kinds of options and services that you would want to make decisions when you are choosing your partner. So we will help you all the way to make the right decision, and both the aunties are there to give you the best advice that it's possible.
Absolutely. Between us aunties, we have done already over 300 matches in the last 25 years. So trust me, with 300 matches, I think we know somewhat of what we're going to be doing. So every week we're bringing you different shows and different subjects. Our first week on Prem Connection, we brought a couple it was an interracial marriage, and they talked about their love and their experience. Our second week, we talked about a young gentleman who talked about how he lost his love. She died of a brain tumor, and how he's learning to move on and what he's done for that. And then of course, then after that, we brought a young lady who talked about arranged marriages and unrealistic expectations. And then last week, we brought two pretty ladies that talked about why they're still single. And today we're going to be bringing on another wonderful, very gorgeous young lady who I know, and you can bring her on, Miss Ira. And we are bringing her on, and she's going to talk about, can you really fall in love across the continents? And that's the reason why we have that little world map behind us. So Sheena, I'm going to begin with you. What do you think? Do you think people can really fall in love across the continents?
I think it really, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of love in order to make the relationship last. But if you're able to find it, by all means, hold on to the love, whether they be near or far.
I think both of us, Rennu and I, can say we did across the continents.
Yeah, you did it very successfully. I didn't.
Well, 42 years later, we're still married.
Yes.
So absolutely. It was across the continent.
Across the continents. Yeah.
Right. I think you have to have faith and also intuition. There's a lot of things that work for you if you systematically work through your relationship.
Right. Absolutely. We're waiting for Mitasha to come on. Is your video working? I think she's got us on. So Sheena, maybe you could text her and find out. We're trying to get her on. Hopefully a video can work on. So what are the biggest, I think, challenges of meeting people across the continents is how do you get to know them? Because I think young people like to go out, get to know each other on a personal level. Now, how do you do that? Now, of course, with technology, when it was my time, I had to sit on the phone with Sheena's dad, and there was no videos or anything. It was thousands and thousands of Kenya shillings that we would pay on a phone bill. But nowadays you have Zoom and you have all this other stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
Mitasha, can you come on? Is she struggling to come on, Miss Ira?
I see her here. She's here, and I don't know. Mitasha's video. Mitasha, is your video not working, or have you kept it turned off?
No. I tried to click on the video link,
Okay.
and it's just saying it cannot. Is that something that's normal? I mean, I'm on my laptop.
Yeah, no, we're going to need your video link, Mitasha, on the show. Yeah, we're definitely going to need your video link. You should be able to activate your video.
Unless there's a problem with the camera, then you just might need to turn it off and on again. Okay.
Yeah, because I think you need to come off Facebook because you can repeat. They can hear our echoes at the back. So I think you need to turn Facebook off. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I think one of the challenges is that. And Kamal, I mean, in our time, of course, we were introduced and we got to know people on the phone. But nowadays, young people want to get to know each other. And back in our time, people were doing rishtas across the continents, right? I mean, that was
right, correctly. Yeah. And I within 8 weeks got married from getting to meet him and whatever the process of getting to know and married. So
in those 8 weeks, how many minutes did you spend with him?
About, I would say 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours in 8 weeks, and you made a decision.
Yeah, and then basically like you made lots of phone calls and sat around chatting and getting to know, his sense of humor, what he liked, his dislikes, and everything else. And I think after a month, we were pretty sure that we were going to get married. And our parents were still rushing to say, how about next week or the week after? And I think also Mr. Gill was in a rush too.
Mr. Gill. Well, after he was chatting with you on the phone, of course. We're still waiting. I know we're having some technical difficulties with Mitasha, so we're going to continue on with our conversation. So Sheena, your generation is, of course, very different from ours. So when I was getting hooked to your dad, Sheena, it was only limited to long distance phone calls. And I used to have to, it was like, I think every couple of days he would call, I would call, and was restricted. Mom and dad would sit in the room and listen to our conversations. That's not how you can make a decision. So Sheena, tell me, you've got some friends that have dated across the continents. How has that happened? And have they worked? Have they not worked? What are the challenges?
So a lot of my friends have been using dating apps lately, and that is something that they have then connected with a person maybe in a different state or across the country or in a different country. I do have some tips, Mom, if I'm able to give some tips for people that are in long distance relationships, that what would work and what would help. So I was researching today different ideas of how someone could actually be in a long distance relationship. And I definitely feel like communication is essential in a long distance relationship, making sure that you talk often, but not too often, because if you talk too often, sometimes that can feel forced. So that would be my
first. Getting into calling too often sometimes. Well, do you think that's, I know girls love attention. So I think we're waiting for Mitasha. There she goes. She's trying to come back on, connecting to audio. Maybe we'll end up doing audio. So, hi Mitasha, can you hear us?
Yes, can you see me yet?
No, we can't see you. So let's continue the conversation because we've already gone into the time right now. I mean, we really wanted to see your beautiful face.
I want to be on here too.
Yes. So let's have a conversation anyway. So thanks for coming in. So my first question to you is, last week we brought on 2 young ladies who are very pretty and they're still single. And can you tell me why is it that young girls who are so pretty, so educated are still single and struggling to find the right people?
You know what, Rennu, I think that's a really great question. Even I ask this question to myself all the time. I'm like, why are all the beautiful girls, they have so much going on in their lives and they are not able to find that perfect match for themselves? And I feel like it's very, very common these days, especially in where we live in the Bay Area.
And what's the reason for that? Do you think girls have just become more fussy? Do you think their requirements, what is it? Why is that happening? Or is it that men are struggling with meeting, they can't handle educated women?
You know what? I really wish I knew the answer to this question, but I really feel like it does depend upon the person that you're talking to. Everybody has different viewpoints. I haven't been able to pinpoint that exactly, especially from here, because I've dated a lot in the Bay Area and I wasn't very successful. So I see Sheena nodding over there because I know she can relate to me. So don't worry, Sheena, you're not alone.
So Mitasha, then when you went into doing long distance dating, may I know what are the challenges in which you started to face, and how did you decide to start dating in a long distance relationship?
So, you know what? It was just a matter of that I was really looking forward to getting into a serious relationship and I wasn't able to find anything. And my sister actually signed me up on the website, which is so cliche. I'm sorry to say this, but shadi.com.
Okay,
And
that's all right.
I was on it for actually quite a few months. And you know, I had a couple conversations here and there from different people, and it was a lot more people from around like the different states and around the world, but I wasn't really getting anything from there either. So I was just like, maybe the timing isn't right. But then all of a sudden I connected to this one person and they were from Mumbai. And so part of my family is also from Mumbai. So I was like, okay, well, this is a good city that I can, you know, be able to, if I did want to pursue this, I may be able to go meet them or whatnot because my family lives there as well. And then they could also help me out if there was anything that, you know, I needed to like find out or whatnot. But that ended up working out very well. We talked for about 7 months before I actually met him in person.
So let me ask you, Mitasha, didn't it worry you? I know girls are, I mean, Mumbai, you know, that's a fast city, party.
I know.
So far.
Beautiful women there, models, Bollywood. Come on. I mean,
Yeah. What's left that
don't you
isn't
think,
in?
like, yeah, why hasn't he found anybody if he's in Mumbai?
I know, but okay, but Renuji, I would say, can't they ask us the same questions? We live in beautiful California near, you know, San Jose, Silicon Valley, and we can't find anybody either. So I think it's the same.
Okay, you got me on that one.
Yeah.
You definitely got me on that one.
It's probably that click, right? It didn't click.
Yes. And the best thing about that I would say that I've really, really liked about online dating and dating long distance is something that I didn't really find when I was dating in the Bay Area. And I'll tell you the main thing that I didn't find here: the conversations, the connections, the deep conversations about topics that, you know, that are important to us. Sometimes I feel like when we're in the dating scene in today's world, people are more just about, oh, the fast life, you know, like, let's go here, let's go out to dinner, let's have fun. But then they don't actually take the time to get to know you as a person and your qualities and traits that are beyond just the first layer. So.
Mm-hmm. So
And let me ask you, Mitasha, you know, as employers, when we go to hire people nowadays, we use social media to do their checking on them because social media is very useful. Everybody's on social media.
Yes.
Do you recommend that to people that, whether it's long distance or short distance, that they should check out the person on social media?
You know what, Renuji, I think that's a great question, especially because I know you did a wonderful commercial on this topic. I remember that commercial. That was an amazing commercial.
You did my makeup.
I did. But no, I think it's very important to, no matter who you're speaking to do your research and to find out as much about their background as possible. Because again, if you are going to be 100% and taking this seriously, you need to know the details as well. And I mean, as girls, we are really good at playing detective. We always are good at finding out those details.
So what else did you check out?
Well, at the time, he didn't really have social media. He's got social media after he met me. So it wasn't much that I could go off of, but the main thing was speaking to him every day. So we've now been in a relationship for over 2 years, and we speak pretty much every day, almost 2 times a day. So the consistency, you know what, and because I'm going to bring this up, this is something that's very big for me. I'll just tell you, dating in the Bay Area, I've dated, you know, different different people and I've had different lengths of relationships, but what I found was that the consistency was never there. So like one day, you know, sometimes they'll be all in, and then some days they'll just disappear off of the face of the earth and you won't even know what's going on. And that's something that always kind of made me feel a little insecure. And I always thought it had something to do with me. But it's actually something that since the day I've started talking to this person, I've never felt that, not even for 1 second.
But Mitasha, so why do you think this is happening here and not with somebody from Mumbai, which is meant to be a fast city?
Right. Again, I think it really depends upon are people actually taking the time to get to know a person like personally versus they're seeing the superficial side of things and they're like, oh, she's beautiful. Oh my God, she has like a great job. You know what I mean? Like small things like that. And then they kind of go forward with it, but they don't really step back and they don't think about what about the future with this person? How would this person be, you know, relating to me if I did this, or what are her, you know, people don't necessarily take that time. That's what I'm noticing. What do you think, Sheena? Do you agree?
I agree with you, Mitasha. Entirely agree with you. I believe you have one more question in regards to loyalty.
I think there's a little crossover over there. Keep going, Sheena. Don't worry. Just speak a little louder.
Auntie Kamal, did you have a question about loyalty?
Yeah, I mean, how did you address that? Did you get loyalty right away, or was it after a long term in your relationship? I mean, how did you trust him?
So that's actually a really great question. I believe that loyalty definitely is something that's very important in a relationship, and if you want to start a relationship, you really have to trust that person. And with us, even though it was long distance, we talked for about 7 months before we met in person, so that the mutual respect was gained from there. And then after I met him, you know, I feel like it grew. So from there, I feel like as the time progressed, he kind of made it known to me, like by speaking to me and telling me how important it was, the relationship and everything. So I could sense that the loyalty was there. So I never doubted that. And again, the consistency, ladies, oh my gosh, I cannot stress this more. That is the one big factor that I will tell you in my entire dating history. I never found that security and consistency before this relationship. So
how often do you go back to see him in person?
So far, I've been there twice. So when I met him, I was there for 3 months visiting my cousin and family. So it was a very good amount of time to really meet the person, see them, how they are and everything, and date and in person, because that's very important. You know what I mean? So if you are doing a long distance relationship, it's important to go meet the person. Definitely see, because you never know when you're first going to meet them, what is going to be your reaction, even though you've been talking to them for so many months. So
Definitely.
So are you telling me you can get chemistry through Zoom and through FaceTime?
Hello, Renu ji. Just like you got your chemistry, she got hers through the.
Yeah, but my chemistry died very quickly.
Well, I'm sorry. You know, when chemistry has to last long time. So
maybe I didn't have the right metals.
If you establish that connection like Mitasha did, then the relationship was able to last longer.
So we have a few minutes before we wrap up, Mitasha. What would be your advice to all the young men and women out there today who are trying to find people? And I mean, you lucked out, but what's your advice to all the people out there? Because there's so many apps these days, and you know, there's just, like you said, I'm not sure if half these people are serious when they're on apps. What's your advice?
actually, that's very true. My advice, first of all, to the women and men who are genuinely looking for a good relationship in their life, my advice was, and this is something that I had learned from a friend who's older, and she'd given me this advice. You want to have a clear head, and you want to think about what it is that you exactly are looking for before you go searching and before you start dating, until you know what you can take positively, or what can work for you, or what would be your the things that wouldn't work for you in the future. Until you figure that out for yourself, you can't have that relationship. So for me, it took me quite a long time, because I'm a lot older, and it took me quite a long time to figure these things out, dating different people and seeing what were the aspects about each relationship that I really liked and what were the aspects that I didn't like. So I started making a list. Realistically, I think this is something that everyone should do if they're really serious. Make a list of the things that you really want in the person that you're looking for. Make also a list of things that you really don't want to stand for.
Mhm.
So once you start to see those things come up, then you know.
And I
You know what I mean?
can add something to it. I think
Yeah.
you have to be honest with yourself. I think when you are honest, I think all those things fall in place as well. Because sometimes we're not quite honest because we're not sure. So I think that's another, segment.
Yeah, the two young ladies we had last week talked about the non-negotiable items.
See, there's that part of that list.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's certain things you can compromise on, and there's certain things non-negotiable. Like you could say,
Right.
I want somebody who's 6'2", but if they're 5'11" and they have everything else, I'm cool with that. But
Or honesty.
Yes,
well,
honesty is
Mitasha, I want to thank you so much. I wish we could have seen you on camera. You're such a beautiful young lady. We would have loved to have seen you. So we're going to bring you back sometime. But thank you
Yes.
for all your tips, and thank you. We've had a little technical issues today, but thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you, Renu ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie, and thank you, Sheena.
Thank you,
No
Mitasha.
problem. Miss Sheena, your closing statement today, since you're,
I'm adding on to what Mitasha said. If you write down in your journal, maybe this might be the life coach in me, you'll be manifesting your soulmate. So write down exactly what you want in a partner, and that will come to you because you're putting that energy out in the world.
Yeah.
Auntie Kamal.
I agree with you. I think, but on the same, like I said earlier, I think you have to know yourself. Once you know yourself, you can look for a partner. But if you don't know yourself, the game is lost.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's time for us to wrap up, and we're going to go back to Radio Zindagi. Next week, we're bringing on a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a marriage counselor who's going to be talking about the challenges in marriages today that she's dealing with, especially in the South Asian community. Back to you, Miss Ira. Thank you, ladies, and we'll see you next week. And thank you again, Mitasha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheena. Bye-bye.